Today we're going to be running through a glute-specific PAPE principle, and PAPE stands for Post Activation Performance Enhancement. Now what that basically means is if you do high intensity or high volume of a specific exercise to isolate a muscle, or isolate it as best as you can, then its performance in a task following that will be a lot better. So it'll be more involved in that task. Now for us, when we're doing rehab, particularly with hip issues or back issues, or both, we like to use this bit of the principle that we use for the glutes to get it better at doing hip extension, so we can isolate the movement coming from the hip, the ball and socket, rather than the spine helping and compensating. So we're going to use the PAPE protocol here with the glutes. So what we're going to do is a couple of exercises in quick succession, so basically one after the other, and that's going to build up that PAPE. So we're getting those muscles activated and fired up, and then we're placing it in a movement specifically. So the first one we're going to do here is banded external rotation with the hip abduction coming from the glutes there. So Taylor's demonstrating it. She's going to do a little bit of a hinge on the knees and hips, abduct the leg out to the side, and we're going to hold there for 3 seconds. Good, back in. And now we're just coming back, making sure we're coming at a bit of diagonal, coming back in. And good, and again there for me, kicking out to the side. So we're challenging both that leg that's abducting, but also that leg that's stabilizing also gets a lot of good work there. So generally I like to do about 12 to 15 reps of this one, 3 seconds, do it on both sides. That's the first exercise, and then straight from there we're going to get into the second exercise. Okay, so when you've done the banded hip abduction exercise, we're going to move straight from that into the quadruped fire hydrant. So we're going to get onto the all fours here, as Taylor's demonstrating. So this one you want to keep nice and neutral through the spine and keep this torso as still as possible. So we're going to loop the band around the knees, and then we're going to be abducting again with a little bit of external rotation coming out to the side, and that's going to really target those glutes, particularly the external rotators. So Taylor's going to demonstrate. She's kicking out to the side here, 3 second hold, and back in. Good. And again, we're trying to keep this as stable as possible as we're externally rotating. That's going to be working those glutes nice and hard there. Really work that stability across the SIJ as well as the other side as well.
So you want to focus on making sure you're not leaning over to that one side.
Yeah, so keep that nice and stable through here. Remember that core control. And same thing, 12 to 15 reps, 3 second hold on each side. And then we're going to move straight into our last exercise. Okay, so after we've done those 2 exercises, you want to move straight into the banded hip extension, or the kickbacks in this position. So what we've got here is a nice band set up around one leg on all fours, and then Taylor's holding onto it. Now you can hold them either both hands or with one, whatever your preference is. And basically we're just having that nice resistance for us to work some pure hip extension coming from the glute muscles, and we're limiting or stopping the back extension from taking that place. Okay, so when you're ready, Taylor's going to be nice and stable through your trunk here. Brace core if required, keep nice and tall, 3 seconds, and back in. Good, and again for me, so nice and stable here, stay nice and tall, 1, 2, 3, and coming back in. So as you can see, we're working really hard to keep the spine as stable as possible, limit the amount of back extension, and purely get some hip extension from here, working those glutes. So this one again, 12, 15 reps on each side, 3 second hold, and that's basically building up our PAPE principle, right? So we've worked the glutes, and then we're putting them into that functional movement of extending from the hips. So this translates into more of your functional movement patterns when we're walking, for example. We should be getting pure hip extension, but if the glutes either are weaker or just don't do the movement well enough, what ends up happening is we do a little bit of back extension when we walk to make up for those glutes, right? So with this PAPE protocol that we run through, you're going to literally work those glutes, activate them nice and hard, and then put them into that movement and say, hey, you should be the ones working primarily with this movement, extending the hips and disassociating from the spine. So allowing the spine to stay nice and stable as the hips are doing all the work. So give that a go. Let us know how you go with it.